Rebecca Ruud is standing trial this week. She's been charged with drugging her 16-year-old daughter, Savannah, preparing to burn her body, but when Savannah woke up, she beat her to death. Mere months after reuniting, a biological mother murdered her daughter and burned the victim's body to just bones at a farm. The prosecution said in opening statements. Rebecca Ruud's bench trial in Ozark County, Missouri, for allegedly killing Savannah Leakey, age 16, began on Monday. Prosecutor Anthony Brown in part cited accounts from 3 women who had been in jail with Ruud. One of them said that Ruud admitted to drugging Savannah with hydrocodone, according to Brown. Then Ruud, believing her daughter was dead, took her body to a burn pile, but the teenager had not died. The victim woke up screaming and Ruud beat her to death, Brown said. And during the screaming, the defendant hit her with a rake or other type of long-handled implement until she could scream no more, he said. And after all that was left of Savannah was a bag of bones. Defense lawyer Yvette Renee Duvall disparaged this tale and the other jailhouse accounts, calling them fantastical stories that neither matched the evidence nor other accounts from people who were actually there. The attorney suggested the inmates fabricated these stories. According to Brown, Ruud gave Savannah up to her friends Tamil Leakey Montague and David Leakey after giving birth and feeling she did not believe she was fit to be a mother. Duvall described this period in tumultuous terms, saying Ruud's abusive mother kidnapped the infant Savannah at one point. Savannah grew up with Tamil and David in Minnesota, but the situation started to change in 2010 when the adopted couple separated. Once a teen, Savannah began acting out, the prosecutor said. He also described her as being on the autism spectrum. She cut herself because of what was going on with her home life, he said. Leakey, who was diagnosed with depression and ADHD, was hospitalized twice for suicidal ideation and planned to die by suicide. It was finally decided that Savannah would be better off with her biological mother, the prosecutor said. Ruud took the teenager, then 15 in late 2016, and brought the girl to her farm in rural Ozark County, Missouri, Brown added. Duvall described this as a mixed experience for Savannah. On one hand, she was hardworking and enjoyed her time on the farm. Her grades were improving. The teenager enjoyed being a cadet for a local fire department, and the volunteers liked having her around. On the other hand, Duvall claimed that eventually Leakey Montague stopped returning Savannah's calls. The defense characterized the adoptive mother as pushing the vulnerable teenager out to Ruud in Missouri instead of finding relatives in Minnesota to take care of her. Her adoptive family fell through on promises to see her, except when her grandparents visited her in April of 2017 and had to leave because of flooding. Leakey Montague mourned her adopted daughter in a September 2017 report from the Springfield News Leader. You start speculating in your head. That's the hardest part, she said. The what-ifs are the worst. Leakey Montague said Savannah would, in the words of the outlet, sometimes attack her siblings without provocation. She also mentioned the 2 hospitalizations. She said she tried to get an inpatient care facility for Savannah but could not. Contrary to Duvall's accounts, Leakey Montague said she asked family members if they could take Leakey on a trial basis, but Ruud, who had remained active in the teenager's life, offered to take her in. Rebecca stepped up at that point, Leakey Montague said. She could see that Savannah really needed some help. Authorities had previously said that Ruud abused the victim on the farm, including rubbing her wounds with salt and alcohol, making her roll in a pig pen and forcing her to bathe in a muddy pond. The adoptive mother, Leaky Montague, said she witnessed no signs of abuse. Somehow, going and getting this fresh start, it just completely reset her, Leaky Montague said of her adopted daughter moving to Missouri. She was doing so well. Prosecutors said that Ruud would eventually kill Savannah. In the timeline of events that Brown presented on Monday, the woman with the hydrocodone story said the murder happened on July 19th of 2017. Brown told the judge that Ruud's suspicious behavior amid the incident. There was an out-of-control fire at the farm the day before on July 18th of 2017. Ruud, a volunteer firefighter, knew she was supposed to contact the sheriff about this, but she contacted everyone except him, Brown said. She did not let firefighters go near the camper trailer where Savannah lived, did not let them see Savannah to check on her, and she even refused them water, the prosecutor said. She allegedly claimed Savannah was naked in a sealed-up trailer which was without electricity. Brown described this as a sweltering summer day. Ruud's then boyfriend and eventual husband, Robert Pete Jr., was indicted with her for charges including murder. The prosecution said, however, that Pete Jr. is expected to testify about heading to the farm that July 18th with his father, a volunteer firefighter. His dad, Robert Pete Sr., treated Ruud's burns while he himself helped put out the flames. Pete Jr. is expected to testify that he saw Savannah on July 19th, very late into the evening, chasing fireflies around what must have been 11 p.m. He is expected to say that there was an argument between mother and daughter over homework that was not done. Savannah was reported missing on July 20th of 2017, Brown said. Her burned remains were discovered the following August 4th on Ruud's property. Duvall asserted that investigators immediately treated this as a death investigation, not a missing persons case. It was about thoughts and feelings instead of evidence, the defense insisted. While in lockup, Ruud told various accounts to inmates, Brown said. She allegedly told one in detail about killing Savannah. She allegedly told another about crushing pills and putting them in a drink. According to another, Ruud said she wasn't getting money for child support, said she was supposed to be getting it, and said she wasn't going to lose her farm because of some bratty kid. There was also unprompted comments of holding someone down in a fire, Brown said. Judge Calvin Holden, who will decide the verdict, will also hear a certain recording at the trial. Ruud made it while speaking to members of the Public Defender's Office, Brown said. The Missouri Supreme Court ruled that she waived attorney-client privilege because she gave Pete Jr. the recording in the box. No evidence in the recording suggests, nor does Ruud assert, that she was forced or coerced into handing over the box with the recording to Pete. Judge W. Brent Powell said in a November 9, 2021 ruling. Rather, the record indicates Ruud voluntarily gave the box containing the recording to Pete to prepare for a trip. Ruud said in the recording that Savannah died from taking drugs, according to Brown. She said that she found the victim's body and burned it, according to the prosecutor. Duvall said, however, that the judge would not hear any scientific evidence about the cause of death, manner of death, or the actual time of death. The defense lawyer acknowledged that her client admitted to burning Savannah's body. But that's all you're going to hear because that's all she did, Duvall said. I've been kind of watching this trial off and on this week. It's quite interesting. I'm not sure if she's guilty or not, but I guess the judge will decide that. I will keep you updated as this goes on. Thank you for watching. Y'all have a good day.